Hello and Merry Christmas! Welcome sa ating radio show dito sa PHLV Radio in Las Vegas, on the air with FACC. My name is Josie Moralidad Azaiman, and syempre nagpapasalamat tayo sa ating station manager here in PHLV Radio, Mr. Johan. Merry Christmas, Johan! And of course, kasama natin sa ating radio show tonight, walang iba. Oh, ayan na. Fresh na fresh. Sabi niya sa akin, kalalabas ko lang galing sa trabaho. Pero, tingnan mo naman. Fresh na fresh. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Emerich Richie Vicente. Hi, Emerich.
Hello, Ate Josie, and good evening to all the beautiful America. And also sa Pilipinas, magandang umaga po sa inyo. Yeah, maligayang Pasko, Merry Christmas. My goodness, I cannot believe it's Christmas time.
Yes, and I
Really
can't
excited.
believe, Emerich, isang buwan na lang. I'm going to be
Yeah.
50 years old.
Oh, that's the anniversary when I met you. It was on your birthday. I
Oh my
remember the
goodness.
celebration of your
Uh-huh.
life. Yes.
Well,
It was
Emerich,
amazing.
ha, pagbalik ko galing sa Pilipinas, ikaw pa rin ang MC.
Okay.
Magse-celebrate tayo, ha? Pero hindi sa January kasi mahirap yung weather. We're going to do it sa spring, okay?
Yeah.
Now, we would like to welcome on our radio show, syempre, no? Yung ating bagong co-host.
Bago.
Bagong bago.
Fresh na fresh.
Yes, fresh na fresh. From Dallas, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jill Lasaka. Hi, Jill.
Maayong gabi kaninyong tanan. Good evening from the beautiful city of Dallas. Emerich, how are you? And Tita Josie, magandang gabi sa iyo. And you are gonna be the golden girl by next year, huh? That's exciting. That's a milestone.
Ay, naka.
A big milestone.
Yeah.
Nararamdaman ko na yung mga sakit.
Yes. But you know,
General?
comes with the golden age, comes wisdom and
That's right.
experience.
Mhm.
There you go.
Mhm. Sabi ni
There you go.
General, I'm ready to party. All right. Okay. General, I will not be able to concentrate pag ganyan ka. I already talked to you na kailangan tumahimik ka lang, okay?
Yeah, and
Stay.
General just celebrated
His
his
first
birthday.
birthday.
First
Yeah.
birthday
Yes.
last weekend. Happy
Kasi gusto
birthday,
niyang
General.
ipakita yung itsura niya. Mahilig din to eh. Mahilig to sa ano? General, stay
General.
in your area of responsibility.
Yeah. You know, by the way,
Ano?
I'm curious, Jill, are you going anywhere for this Christmas?
You know, I've traveled to Europe last 2 weeks ago, so I'm using the next 3 weeks just to have a moment of reflection. So I'm not I'm not leaving Dallas. I'm just staying in.
Okay.
And I actually have several events. I will be the host for the National Asian American Cultural Festival. We have our New Year Festival. So we will be we have like 350 guests that's gonna,
Wow.
as we welcome the new year, and I will be hosting that event.
Wow, that sounds exciting, Ate
Very
Josie, right?
exciting. It's very
Yes.
Oh my
exciting.
goodness.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So, and then part of that is also the Miss North Texas
That's
world pageant within the celebration. So a lot of exciting things.
Exciting.
This is the biggest fundraiser for that organization this year, so that it
Okay.
will have the money and the resources to for its projects next year.
Yeah, for next year. Absolutely. That's
Yes.
really good. It's a lot of events happening. I think a lot of people have decided, you know what? Let's not keep ourselves inside and
Yes.
be alone. Let's gather. So, and a lot of them are very careful too. So,
Yeah.
they're all taking precautions. They got their vaccines, their flu shots, and all that good stuff. So, Really exciting. How about you, Ate Josie? Are you going anywhere or you're gonna
Oh,
stay?
yes. Nakahanda na ako, ha. After 21 years, I'm going back to the Philippines.
21
Wow.
years. That's a long year, not.
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to celebrate a birthday.
Oh,
Tapos
good.
makikipagkita tayo sa ating mga
Yeah.
cancer patient
Beneficiaries.
beneficiaries.
Yeah.
Tapos yung iba na namatay, we're going to visit them. So
Wow.
sasama sa akin yung ibang mga board of directors, yung ating ibang officers, sasama sila. Most probably mga 20 kami, Emerich.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And
It's a whole
we're
delegation.
going to attend the Dinagyang Festival, and
Oh, my.
I think we're going to parade. We're going to join the parade para
Mhm.
naman makita
Yeah.
nila na, oh, may Filipino American Cancer Care. And then we can, we would be able to tell them kung ano yung mga services and programs ng FACC, hindi lang dito sa Amerika, kundi sa Pilipinas at sa ibang bansa pa.
And
And, yes, go
sorry,
ahead. Go
and
ahead,
I know one of our big supporters and donors, and he happened to be a designer who helped us on our fashion show. Jay Lizon is having
Lyson.
a show at that
Yes.
time too.
Yes, pupunta
So
ka ba?
no, unfortunately, I cannot. I'm staying in
Jill, gusto
because
mong sumama kay Jay Lison? Mahilig yun sa European shows.
Yeah, I know, no. I've been following him on Facebook too.
yeah,
So that's very exciting. He's coming up with a world fashion for children. I think that's groundbreaking. So I look
Yeah.
isn't
forward
it?
to
It's
meeting
great.
Jay. I actually met Jay 4 years before COVID, and they had their first fashion show here, and our fashion line and his fashion line were the starter for the
Mhm.
fashion event.
Yes.
Nice.
So magkikita kami ni Jay at sabi niya magkakaroon daw ng models, ano ba 'to? Shooting na
Oh,
parang
wow.
pelikula. Ano ba 'yan?
Right.
Naku! Oy, Emerich ha. Kasama ako doon sa pelikula na Aswang.
There you go. Oh, that's different.
Ako yung
But it's
aswang.
really, and then in February, I mean, I think it's okay to tell everyone on our followers and viewers and listeners that we are having a fashion for a cause at the U.S. I mean, Philippine Embassy in New York City.
Yeah, the
Um,
Exciting.
Philippine Consulate Office in
at the
New York
exactly,
City.
and that's gonna be on the 24th
Oh,
February 20.
Emerich. Kailangan nating i-rewind.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be Friday, February 17. Ayan.
17. There you go.
Ah, ah.
February
Yeah.
17.
Siyempre,
Is
yung
that
featured, what's
is that
that?
is that in celebration also of the New York fashion
Fashion Week.
week
Yes,
It's
that's the
right
week of
after.
yes,
right after?
after
It's right. It's a
the,
few days after.
mhm,
And
Oh, wow.
then,
Okay.
yeah. And we're
yeah.
featuring our very own, very good supporter,
And
Mr. Carl
Andrada.
Andrada.
And he's also
Amazing.
an ambassador sa FACC, no?
Yes.
And
Nice.
ang ganda ng mga designs niya.
Yeah.
And sabi niya nga, he's doing this to help us raise funds para sa mga cancer patient
Yeah.
beneficiaries. And you know what? We would like to extend our condolences pala. Yung isa sa mga beneficiaries natin na 2 years old na bata, namatay
Oh,
the other day. I think, Emerich, naalala mo to, itong si Matthew Vergara from Leyte,
Yeah.
Philippines, no? And ang parents nag-reach out sa atin. I'm going to post something about Matthew in the next few hours. And
Matthew.
mahirap para sa pamilya,
mahirap.
but they are very thankful and grateful sa support ng Filipino American Cancer Care. Nawala ng trabaho yung parents, ha? Kasi
Yeah.
nga, kailangan nilang alagaan yung bata. And he's only 2 years old. But anyway, we will interview the father and the mother on our radio show in the next few weeks. Now, Jill, I think I'm going to give you the floor to
Thank you,
introduce
Tita Josie.
our special guest. And he is
Yeah,
also
we
going to be a part of Filipino American Cancer Care. Magiging part siya ng medical board of advisors.
Tita Josie, one of the great things about our organization is that we are able to attract very credible, well-respected leaders in the community. Tonight, our special guest, he is the president-elect of the Philippine Nurses Association of New Jersey for 2022 and 2024. He was the director of Cancer Administration Community Medical Center from 2004 to 2020, and he was recently promoted at the Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, CINJ, as Administrative Director for Oncology Performance Measures and Oncology Accreditation. He is also an adjunct professor in New Jersey and in the Philippines, Georgian Court University Pineland School of Practical Nursing and Allied Health Incorporated, and the Central Philippine University. Our guest has achieved numerous outstanding achievement awards for cancer program in the United States, and he is the first Filipino nurse surveyor at the national accreditations for breast cancer programs for US, Puerto Rico, Canada, Dubai, and South Africa. He was born and raised in the beautiful island of Guimaras. You know, I've always wanted to go to Guimaras. And that is where it's been the home of the sweetest mango. He is the youngest of four siblings. He became an orphan when his parents were hit by lightning in 1984 at the age of 12. He was raised by his grandmother, who taught him the fear of God and the value of education. Through the financial support of the family, he was able to pursue his dream of becoming a nurse. Jonathan is a consistent honor student and leader since elementary to high school. In high school, he graduated valedictorian and attained the highest title in the Citizens Army training as the Corps Corps Commander. He graduated at the Philippine University in Iloilo, class 1993. Without further ado, let's welcome with a round of applause Jonathan Anotado Gapilango as our guest for tonight. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, welcome po.
Right, good evening. Thank you. Thank you, Jill, for that very warm introduction. Thank you,
You're
Ati
welcome.
Josie, for connecting me tonight with this program. And Emirates also, nice to meet you all virtually. And maybe someday we can meet face to face in one of the ACC events in the States, as we raise funds for this organization. And it's Gapilango, my last name, by the way.
Gapilango.
Yeah.
Well, that's very true. We're only 3.5 hours away from each other.
You should come to our party on the 30th.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
yes,
Oh, nice.
Rich. Pwede ka ba?
Where is that? Where's
Ay,
it gonna
tatlo
be?
tayong tatlo
Ate
tayong mag-MC.
Josie is
Tsaka
Ate
Jill,
Josie.
kung gusto mong mag-fly, ha?
But she has an event.
I have an
Yeah.
event. I will be hosting the New
Yeah.
Year celebration for the Dallas Fort Worth Filipino community. So
Mhm.
I'll be in. You will be all in my thoughts.
There you
Oh,
go. There you
yes.
go.
Mhm.
But
Pupunta yan si Jill dito. Babalik yan
yeah. Oh
sa
my God.
Babalik
Absolutely.
kayo dyan.
DMV.
Okay.
Rich, ito yung namin, party next week. No,
The
December
30th.
30. Ito yung mga Ilonggo. Pero sabi ko
Ah.
nga, mahihirapan kaming magsalita ng Hiligaynon or Ilonggo kasi I'm married to American.
Uh-huh.
Ang daming hindi lang Ilonggo ang bisita. So, sabi ko kay Jonathan, sige, tayong mag-MC dyan. Pero Jonathan, i-add natin si Rich.
Yeah,
Oo.
no
I will
problem.
let you know if I can go, okay? It's my
Jan-
parents' wedding anniversary. So
Oh my gosh.
I'll let you know.
What that's going to be Friday, Rich.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm on vacation that day.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
So
But
I will let you know. I'm in town.
Ah,
I'm in town. I'll let you
Rich,
know.
we would like
Absolutely.
you to be there kasi nga,
It'll be
ikaw
fun.
yung translator.
you're gonna bridge the gaps between the Ilonggo and English and Tagalog.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pandagdag sahog. You want more
Jill,
diversity? You
marunong ka
want
bang
more
magsalita ng
diversity, yeah?
Hiligaynon?
Oh my
Katulad namin ni
goodness.
Jonathan.
Yeah, and Jill, you speak Ilocano too?
No, I actually speak Bisaya. I'm
Mm.
from
Oh,
Cagayan de Oro, but I went to
oh,
college in Cebu. So
Oh.
okay.
Cebuano.
Mhm.
Okay. Ako naman
Alam mo
purong
si
Tagalog.
ano, si Emerich later on magiging ano na rin yan siya,
Yeah,
magiging
magiging
Bisaya,
ganun.
Ilonggo.
Imagine si Jill. Purong Tagalog eh. Taga Bulacan-Bulacan pa.
Oo, talagang taga Bulacan.
Then, well, before anything else, I want to ask Jonathan because I really love what Jill read about you, your background, and the nurse being a nurse. I think it's a story of all Filipinos, like being in the medical field. I wanted to for our audience and listeners, nursing. What inspired you, and how did you get to that level that you know what you're gonna be a nurse, you became a nurse, and then now you're leading a really good
Mhm.
organization and organizations in a lot of things. So give us a little bit of that story from you.
So that's yeah. First, supposedly nursing actually is not my first choice in college,
Mhm.
and due to financial difficulty, supposedly my dad, if he was still alive at that time when I went to college, he wants me to be a doctor because he wants me to serve our community
Mhm.
as a doctor. But because of the financial issues, to go to school, how long it's gonna take you when you study for to be a doctor back home, it's how many years of schooling, and plus, you have to have an established name before you can really practice, di ba? Mahirap na wala ka
Right.
pang pangalan in the field. So at that time, when my parents died, I grew up with my grandmother. Her name is Lola Dadang, and she raised me and, said, why not become a nurse? Because my uncles are here, the one that were supporting me back then,
Mhm.
and said, at the time in the 1990s, late
Mhm.
80s, it was so like now we saw the need for the nursing profession in here. There were a lot of agencies actually that will go to the
Mhm.
Philippines and recruit. So that kind of threw me for that. I said, you know what, I'm not gonna be a doctor, but at least I'm gonna still be in the healthcare
Yeah.
profession. I can still give back. I can still at saka we have to accept the fact that for economic reasons, to be a nurse when you come to the States, you can help other people because our salary here much better than in the Philippines. And plus, I
Right.
think growing up with my grandmother, she has her own medical issues. Akong taga-check ng blood pressure niya dati kasi she has,
Mhm.
naman sa Philippines, very common ng hypertension, diabetes,
Right.
but she has high blood. So I'm the one, making sure. And I also sometimes, since I'm the youngest apo that grew up with her together with my
Mm.
cousin, we were the one like bringing her to the doctors when she had her surgery for her eyes. So at that time, siguro, I was being prepared by God to go to this profession. And I love it. I never
Yeah.
regretted any na
Right.
nang hindi ako naging doktor. Kasi as a nurse, marami kang matatas na rin na tao. Iba naman yung doctor, with due respect, but as nurses, we're the one really at the bedside a lot
Yeah.
Mhm.
with our
Yeah.
patients. We spend time than the physicians because the physician will explain your diagnosis, but kami yung sasalo, kami yung
Right.
provide ng emotional support, education, pati family members, we are the
Right.
one, that will be there
Talking to
for the
them.
patients. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Very rewarding.
Jonathan, being a nurse, I'm actually an occupational therapist. Um, like when I was in the Philippines, my dad, I've always wanted to be a doctor, but we did not have the means to do it. So naging OT ako. But some of the things that don't happen actually opens doors for us. And lalo na yung nurse, the last, especially after COVID, I think it has redefined yung role talaga ng nurse as a frontliner in the medical industry. Now, anong advice mo sa mga, frontliners and nurses na, they have to go through a lot, to take care of the people. So, anong advice mo para they can take care of themselves as well?
So as a nurse, of course, you have the high risk actually, sa burnt out.
Yeah.
So you really
Mhm.
have to take care of yourself because if you don't, how can you give back? If you don't have the energy, you don't have enough sleep, you have to take care of yourself, and that's why we promote yung self-care. You need to take your days off. I know sometimes you need the money overtime, but then you forget that there's life after outside the hospital walls. You need to connect with your friends, your family. If you travel, like you travel, you like visit your loved ones, or even just friends. Even yung wag weekend ka lang, you go to the beach, or even sometimes some people nag-exercise, nag-yoga,
Mhm.
anything, even just walking in the park and
Right.
breathing fresh air. So we need to do that. When I was new in America, I used to work a lot, sometimes,
Right.
14 days straight. No, at the time I was single. So, but still, you didn't realize na ano pala, ano mo yung pera. At saka,
Mhm.
the more you work here, the higher the taxes sometimes,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's like, but of course, the good thing here, if you need to catch up on, or you want to buy something, or you want to catch up in your bills, you can
Right.
always work extra. That's the good thing about nursing here. Oh, I want to pick up extra overtime, pero pag gusto mo na magpahinga din, as long as you
You could.
fulfill your 40 hours, you can still survive. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you should really, nurses really should take a break, should take a pause. As you don't need to, like expensive vacation, but I said like simple walking, going to area, that you want to go, if you want to go to another state. So minsan it helps, and
Mhm.
connecting with your friends,
Right.
families, kasi kailangan natin yan eh. Kasi as they said, life is too short. You never know what's gonna
Right.
happen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. I interviewed Jonathan in my other radio show, and then I found out that I think he was the first, isa siya sa mga naunang nurses na nagkaroon ng COVID
Yeah.
noong highlight nitong pandemic. Jonathan, would
Oh,
you like to
wow.
tell us yung experience mo about COVID?
Yes. So it was the later part, ng March 2020. I was what happened is I was running an infusion. So outpatient infusion kami we provide yung cancer chemotherapies. So
Mhm.
they know that my unit can run without me kasi magagaling yung mga staff ko, and it's outpatient. Actually kami lang ang outpatient services, few lang na nag-open kasi we don't wanna delay the patient care kasi kawawa naman mga pasyente, di ba? Madili yung
Yeah.
chemo nila 1 week, it's a big thing,
Right.
or. So we opened. So they told me, Jonathan, your unit, they're running okay. Nia-assign ako sa isang unit. It's called command center, where everybody
Mhm.
goes, supplies, swabbing, everything. Magpa the appointment ng kanilang swabbing. So what happened was, at the time we don't know what's going on. It was too early, di
Mhm.
ba? Wala pang gamot. We
Right.
don't know. So we were wearing masks. At the time, I didn't know what kind of mask. N95 ba, yung surgical mask, whatever, my
Mhm.
facial ba, my gown ba, we don't know. So the people were, they were going to the command center para kasi may mga symptoms sila at that time. We were wearing the mask naman na N95. But siguro, because contact, you never know who is positive or not. My immune system maybe was
Mhm.
low at that time.
Mhm.
Plus, it was a 3 to 11 shift. So, but right away, I have a feeling actually that night when I went home. For some reason, God, I don't know, I felt a
Yeah.
difference inside me. I feel
Right.
like yung parang ants na nagko-crawl sa katawan ko na mainit.
Mm.
So I,
Mm.
I told my wife, actually I was still in the car. I told my wife, I said, please tell Josh, our son, my wife, I said, Weng, move out ka. Sabi mo si Josh, magtulog sa'yo sa master's bedroom kasi may bathroom
Mm.
kayo. Akong kukuha ng room ni Josh, sabi ko, and I wanna be isolated. So sabi ko, I don't wanna see you when I get home. Please wear mask and 95 all the time. So alam ko yon kasi I have a feeling, even though na hindi
Yeah.
pa ako na-swab, alam kong may COVID ako.
You felt it.
So I felt it, the difference. And my temperature at that time was 101. So alam ko na something is
Right.
brewing. Yung
Mhm.
may kumukulo sa loob ng aking katawan.
Yeah.
Something
Right.
like that. So I went home, and then I was out of work for 3 weeks.
Right.
And to begin with, I am also compromised kasi borderline akong sugar, diabetes.
Mm.
Aha.
Hypertensive na rin ako at that time, siyempre naman sa family at saka sa pagkain namin dito. And
Right.
then I also was diagnosed of rheumatoid arthritis, which is autoimmune
Oh.
disease. So I've been actually nagbibigay ako ng shot na chemo, low dose methotrexate sa sarili
Mm.
ko once a week. So at that time, sabi ko compromise nandito sa akin lahat. So I went home, I stayed in my room. yung first 3 days talaga, takot akong matulog kasi baka hindi ako magising. I was so scared.
Yeah.
I was watching my pulse ox, yung oxygen ng
Right.
level,
Oxygen and
saturation.
pulse.
Watch ko yung ko, grabe yung ubo ko. Actually, yung pinakapangit sa akin yung joints ko, masakit. Parang 10 times na nahit ako ng bus.
Oh
Na
my
kahit
gosh.
maggalaw ako, sakit yung mga buto ko, masakit, nag-swollen yung mga iba ko sa paa. But I told myself, I have to go through, I have to fight this. So kahit ayokong magtayo sa bathroom, tumupunta tayo sa bathroom, sa umaga nag-exercise ako, yung jumping jack sa room or whatever.
Sure.
And then I kind of alarm my phone na every 2 hours talaga mag-change ako ng position. Kasi may positioning dati na nag-proning yung ulo mo sa baba pa, siyempre yung ulo mo lang tagilid konti. Ano yun nagpo-promote ng lungs. So yun lang kasi yung ginagawa ng mga pasyente sa hospital, ginagawa ko rin sa bahay. Pero
Sure.
talaga nawalan ako ng taste buds, wala talaga, no smell. Grabing ubo ko. Ang fever ko mga 5 days na wala na. The good thing is parang I have craving for
Yeah.
Chinese food. So at that time sarado ang Chinese. Kasi
Of
di ba
course.
walang Chinese
Yeah,
yung
everything's closed.
isang store dito, we call it ShopRite here. It's they have like that area for like Asian at the back. So I told my wife, can you please get me this? Like parang yung nagki-craving ako. But wala akong taste. But thankfully yung appetite ko pinilit ko talaga. Drinking water, and also what helped me, I have turmeric powder from the Philippines. At saka nagpagawa ko ng ginger talaga na totoo na pina-boil ni Mrs.
Yeah.
At saka yun ang ginawa kong parang water
Yeah.
for the first 2 weeks. But ang cough ko talaga ang naglinger na matagal ako nakabalik sa work na 3 weeks. Kasi at saka ang mahirap at the time, kahit wala na akong cough, going back to the hospital, oncology, takot yung mga staff ko sa akin.
Yeah.
At saka mga pasyente, like, I felt they don't want to say it, but I can feel it. Na
Yeah.
stay away from us. Kahit nagmamas na kami, di ba? Kasi, syempre, we don't know what's really happened. Kasi at that time, totoo ba? Yung distancing lang? Or, so, kahit mag-ubo ako kasi I have also bad allergy. Pag nag-ubo ako, you have to try not to cough in front of people kasi natakot sila, pati mga pasyente, stay away from. And I don't want to be the one also bringing them.
Passing it on, yeah.
Lalo na yung mga immunocompromised na yung pasyente. So there's a lot of, yung unknown, yung fear. Not only fear ko na mabigay sa kanila, dara ng fear din nila na makuha nila yung COVID sa akin.
Right.
So that's,
Jonathan, thank you for sharing that story. Because when during the height of COVID, I was also seeing patients. We had very low staff, and then very interesting. I was exposed 9 times, but I tested negative 9 times then. So I was just very lucky. It was also really a moment na you really have to take care of yourself. And during that time, I made sure that I sleep well, and then wala talaga, sleep, exercise, and low stress talaga ang level. That I think that really helped me. But then again, we all have different ways of our reaction, our body's resistance to the virus. So it's a very challenging time, and thank you for sharing that.
So Jill, hindi ka pa nagkaroon ng COVID?
Hindi pa, but you know
Oh my
what? 3
gosh.
weeks, I know, but the funny thing is, during the height of COVID, I was seeing patients kasi nga, wala kaming mga therapists, but for some reason, God was there with me, na hindi talaga ako na COVID. Pero a couple of weeks ago, parang I thought I had some symptoms of a COVID, pero negative din ako. It may be just a variation of the flu-like, the cough and everything, but siguro I just have a very strong resistance.
You're lucky.
Yeah. That could be.
Immune system mo, grabe.
Yeah. I'm curious, Kuya Jonathan, the difference between the nurses on the oncology and then the regular nurses and the different, what's the big difference, especially on the skill set? I assume there's a huge difference.
Right.
If you can just educate us a little bit on that.
So
And
usually,
also, I would like to follow up that question. No? because I found out in your bio that you have been the director of this cancer administration or the community medical center in
Yeah.
New Jersey from 2004 to 2000 or 2020. Now, what was it like for you na maging isa kang director ng cancer department and being an oncology nurse?
Okay. So let me answer the first question. So to be an oncology nurse, of course, it takes you to have that compassion, because not everybody can do oncology.
Mhm.
You need to have at least yung 2 years medical surgical experience. But sometimes, because especially when there's shortage, we will train the staff. Like
Mhm.
for me, when I went to oncology, actually galing ako ng nursing home. So I was just blessed na, my friends, one of the mentors recruited me directly to oncology. Hindi na ako nagdaan sa medical surgical floor. And then you have to pass, we have to get our chemotherapy certification. At saka you should be also good in inserting the IVs,
Mhm.
yung mag-insert ng IV, at saka Portacat. So, dyan ka dapat. So, when you become an oncology nurse, you have to be prepared kasi anytime, like we're talking right now, healthy yung pasyente, but at the back of your mind, they have cancer, they can have late stage. And sometimes they can have sudden, heart attack or any complications that they're gonna
Mhm.
go bad. Sometimes mabubuhay sila, dadalhin namin sila sa ICU, i-upgrade yung care nila. But sometimes we have to accept na you're gonna code them na hindi mo sila talaga ma-revive no matter what you do. You will try your best. So you have to
Wow.
really be prepared. Kasi as I said, we get attached to them. We see them
Yeah.
every week for therapy. Minsan nga, mas close pa kami kumpara sa mga anak nila na malalayo, right? So the family kind of expect na kaming mag-update sa kanila what's going on. So yung communication, ito na yung treatment nila, ito yung plan. So yung collaborative approach ng physician, ng doctor, OT, PT involved, social worker, lahat yun, sabihin ko ano yung prognosis. You have to be honest with the patient. You have to give them hope, of course. Kasi everybody responds differently sa gamot, di ba? Kanya-kanya tayo
Right.
kasi yung cells natin, depende yun. And but of course, there's always this sabi nila na you have to tell them the terminal stage, yung bad news na. So, yun
Mhm.
ang mahirap because you get attached, the rapport, the
Right.
relationship that you have. And I started as a nurse. Actually, I was a staff nurse for 3 years. Then the position came up. They said they pushed me, Jonathan, why
Yeah.
not apply? Kasi at that time,
Wow.
when I went kasi dito, may masters na ako back from the Philippines. So
Uh-huh.
they said, why not apply? You've been a good nurse and blah, blah, blah. At first, I don't want to take it because I don't want that
Yeah.
24-hour responsibility. I was like 24 years old. I want to go out. I want to have life. So, but I
Yeah.
took the challenge. And as they said, pag binigay na ng Panginoon yung pathway, you have to grab the opportunity. As they said, you never know what's going to happen. But thankfully, the hospital, my team, they were great. They prepared me. And I've been in the management in oncology since 2004.
Wow.
Then last year, actually, over a year na, December 2020, yung pinaka-system namin nag-open ng position na promotion. So they asked me if I wanna do yung parang akong in charge ngayon ng aming mga accreditation sa cancer at mga quality
Mhm.
improvement projects sa cancer sa system at saka my base hospital din, which is good kasi it's another uh way na you will appreciate your that you're making a difference.
Right.
So at saka ano din, ang maganda din sa oncology kasi you have a lot of options. Pag naging oncology nurse ka, pwede ka sa doctor's office. May mga
Yeah.
ano din sa insurance. Uh, uh, and even me, even though I'm in a management position, I'm proud to say that I still work sometimes, at least once or twice a month. Pupunta ako sa bahay, yung bumibisita kami as home care oncology nurse. Kami ang
Yeah.
nagko-connect ng chemo, nagdi-disconnect, nagbibigay ng mga shots, nagbibigay ng TPN, yung special na pagkain nila,
Wow.
whatever. Kasi I don't wanna be a director na wala akong skill sets na
Right.
naiwan. Kasi you never know. You have to have a full back. Something
Absolutely.
happens, di ba? So
Yeah.
anytime I can still give meds, medyo hindi na ako magaling sa skills mag-start ng veins kasi it's been a
Mhm.
while, but I can still access the Portacat, yung special nila na pinagdadaanan ng chemo sa chest ng mga pasyente kasi long term yan eh. Kasi pag magkikimo ka, yung veins mo eventually, maano na yun, mahirap na yan kunin. So nagsasuggest kami na lagyan sila ng special line, tawag doon portacath. Doon kami nagbibigay ng chemo para mabilis i-access. Doon ko rin kami kumukuha ng blood work nila, specimen for blood work para mabilis sa pasyente. So, as I said, to be oncology nurse, you have to prepare, you have to be compassionate. Of course, everybody naman. Pero yung death, you have to, accept na yung death, dying, terminal, at saka yung pasyente talaga, they look at you. Of course, hindi mo naman lahat alam na side effects, di ba? Kasi minsan, all of a sudden, nag-ano na sila, nag-short of breath. Dati wala naman. So like kahit sabi mo pang-anim na chemo na nila, you never know the side effects. So it's really different, kaya you try to give them the information as much as you can. But you always say na it might happen to you, it might not happen to you because you never know how the body will react.
Yeah. Jonathan, very special talaga yung oncology nurse kasi you don't just have to have the set skills, you have to have the compassion and the kindness.
Yeah.
And when I was working at one of the hospitals here in Dallas, I got to work with oncology, OT, palliative OT, occupational therapy. So they get to have, it's very interesting because they have a very unique personality then. They're soft, they're very compassionate. Kasi sabi ng one of the OT was like, it's not just care, it's more of the life and death issues at the end stage, and how do you as a professional bring that compassion and kindness, and minsan yun na lang ang gusto ng pasyente and even the family. So I can really relate to what Jonathan and the kind of skills and compassion that he has for his clients.
At saka maganda rin sa oncology kasi you can also give them spiritual support. It doesn't matter what religion you have, you have in life. But sometimes just praying, sometimes when my patient's so down, I will ask permission, of course. I said, it's okay. We'll pray together. They said, yeah, go ahead. Or well, you open the Bible and read it to them. Or sometimes you just, be there with them. They will really appreciate that. No, kasi who refuse a prayer, right? Anybody, in the downest part of your life, you know that kind, you worship God. I'm from a Christian, I'm a Baptist, but I don't, I don't force it to the patient. But I said, okay, I believe in God. So that's the thing too, that's good thing. And ang maganda din sa oncology, sa aming samahan dati, we uplift each other. Pag nakikita nilang down na down ka doon at saka emotionally attached ka, one of the coworkers would say, ipo-pull out kanila and they will cover your patient. So tulungan talaga kasi pag hindi kayo nagtulungan, madi-drain ka talaga, mauubos ka.
Absolutely.
And lalo pag bago ka sa oncology, you have really ang co-workers mo sensitive. So they trained us, they educate. But there's sometimes there's a situation na hindi ka talaga prepared, lalo na pag mga, and nothing against age, pero yung mga bata, yung mga bata na may cancer, not early adult, kasi hindi naman ako pediatric, oncology adult ako. So 19 and up yung mga pasyente namin. So mahirap talaga. And sometimes that they have also small children, how you prepare the family. May mga maliit pa silang bata,
Right.
So aside from praying, no, or you also pray for them, how do you comfort yung ibang mga pasyente na alam mo, you know what, some of them, they even have mental disorder because of cancer. And there are so many emotions involved when you're dealing with cancer.
So, it's always, you have to empathize with them. Empathy, and also even just sometimes having your presence there. When you say they're down, sometimes they don't want to talk at all. They wanna, you say hello, they wanna. So sometimes you just tell them, I will be here with you, sitting at the bedside. I will pull out the chair. When you just tell them, if you're ready to talk to me, I'm just here. I'm willing to listen. So sometimes just giving that few minutes, and mag-warm up naman yan sila, magsasalita na sila. Then you involve the other team kasi hindi naman kami expert dyan. So may social worker naman tayo, may chaplain din na tatawagan mo. And also try to also ask them what they like. Sometimes they might maybe just listen to soft music Or, or kung anong religion nila, whatever, sometimes you call them from outside. You bring people support, or
Right.
even calling their family. Sometimes they want to see, I want to see my daughter. I want to see. So, the good thing is with the technology, with the cell phone, at that time, medyo hindi pa uso ang FaceTime at saka Facebook nung nag-start ako sa oncology. But you can call, that's a good thing now, at that time, my cell phone sa bedside, you can call them. But you have to try as much, to be there with the patient.
Mhm.
And sometimes they will even say, you know what, I don't want the chemo yet. So you respect that, they
Yeah.
might wait, you don't force right away. But i-explain mo rin na kailangan nila magsimula ng treatment. The good thing is really yung yung initial interaction with the patient.
Mhm.
Don't be judgmental. As I was told Ate Josie sa isang interview niya na sometimes sisigawan ka, you know,
Yeah.
uh,
Right.
verbally abusive kasi mas physical kasi galit sila sa mundo, di ba? At,
Right.
cancer. So you just have to think the reasons of all of this outburst behavior that they have because of
Yeah.
cancer. Of
Mhm.
Wow,
course,
that's difficult. That is hard.
kung
That
sobra-sobra
is
naman
very
yung
hard.
abuse sa'yo na physical, there's also a proper way na i-report mo rin,
Oh,
bibigyan sila, kakausapin sila. But there's always initial reaction mo. You just have to listen and be physically present sa kanila kasi they know when you care. Yung gestures mo, kahit hindi ka magsalita eh. Pero pag nakita nagmamadali ka, papasok ka pa lang sa room, tingnan mo na yung watch mo, then it's
yeah.
hard to, So
That's
you have
it.
to be real with them at the
Yeah.
moment and,
Present.
be present.
Yeah, Jonathan, the family is a very important part of the recovery and the healing for
Mhm.
cancer patients. Ano ba usually ang approach mo? Because I know that the family's way of handling the situation can either complicate or worsen the situation. What advice do you usually or ang approach niyo in handling difficult families who have
So,
difficulty accepting
the diagnosis.
reality?
So we believe our approach in my system, Robert Wood Johnson, Barnabas Health, where I work, we call it family patient centered approach. So from the start pa lang, you have to involve the family na.
Yeah.
You have to let them know what's going on, what's the plan. Of course, magdi-denial yan sila, the patient, the family. They will always deny first. Because mahirap eh, especially pag
Mhm.
wala pa silang history ng cancer, di ba? It's really
Mm-hmm.
hard. So you have to tell them, these are the different options. Of, ang oncologist mag-explain yan, ang surgeon kung whatever, if it's gonna be chemotherapy first, tapos mag-combination pa ng tawag yun, neoadjuvant.
Radiology.
Then papatawag din ng radiation oncologist, yung surgeon, kung ano yung plan.
Mhm.
So kaya involve mo sila and then any changes ng treatment, any side effects, you have to be on the top of your game na
Right.
inform mo sila. Kasi pag hindi sila aware, then may potential na sisin. Kaya you didn't tell me that's, na ito pala, you didn't tell me. So, in-educated. So, ang education actually na part sa job namin yan ang mahirap kasi you have to take time.
Mhm.
And you have to give them time na naintindihan talaga nila, ipaulit mo yan eh. Ito
Yeah.
yung treatment mo. Kasi if there's any shadow of the doubt, you don't wanna continue kasi hindi pa
Yeah.
sila ready. Pag nag-ask sila ng questions, even though it's not like, the questions na expected mo naman kasi ang rami-rami kang babasahin nga, it's a lot of pages of education. Paulit-ulit yan, remember earlier we discussed. So you have to really be patient with them. And ang family din, as I said, difficult sila minsan. And sometimes you might have to ask them first maybe to step out, may waiting room or punta muna kasi it's lalo pag nakita nila na yung initial nagre-react minsan yung family. Masakit yun eh that they
Right.
say what's
Yeah.
going on and as I said, we don't promise anything. We
Mhm.
tell them, we don't promise kasi ang may ano naman kami may fina-follow guidelines tawag doon NCCN guidelines yung para yung pinaka ano yun ng mga ng therapy ng yung tawag doon ng mga tawag doon chemotherapy regimen na ginagamit sa mga pasyente. So as I said, family, patient, just be honest, educate, reinforce, and again, always be nice. Kasi pag nice tayo sa tao, hindi tayo makalimutan eh, yung sabi nila kahit you're not as, yung skills mo minsan, kahit hindi ka masyadong magaling na nurse, pero kung yung attitude mo positive,
Yeah.
compassionate,
Yeah.
smiling, welcoming, yung aura mo maganda, the family and the patient will have a better connection with you.
Mhm. Wow. Emmerich?
And no, I have a clarifying question earlier when Kuya Jonathan was discussing about the
Portacat.
Porta Cup. So you mentioned that's a lifetime? So,
Hindi naman sa lifetime.
okay,
Habang nasa treatment sila, po
I
usually,
see.
let's say, some doctors will wait. Let's say, nag-remission ng pasyente, ano?
Yeah, yeah.
So, the doctor will ask, can we let it stay there for 6 months or
Mhm.
1 year?
Uh-huh.
But the other patients, sometimes, they felt it's like their lifeline. They wanna keep it. Ipa-flash na lang namin yan every
Oh,
six
wow.
weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. Kasi hindi naman yan, ano eh, it's very, hindi mo naman makikita. Sometimes it's yung mga bagong ayon, parang ano na lang,
Right.
yung dime. Parang
Yeah.
dime. And then, hindi na makikita. Minsan, so, and they can still swim, they can still it's not really gonna bother them. Only pag gusto nilang i-keep after na
Yeah.
remission na sila, ipa-flash lang namin sometimes 6 weeks, 4 weeks para hindi siya mag-clog. Pero
Yeah.
maganda doon, pag wala silang vein, madaling kumuha ng dugo doon, ng blood.
I see. I
Mhm.
see.
Okay.
And another one, if I
Yes.
may. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, for after the post radiation or chemotherapy, because I remember I have a friend back then that gone through radiation, and the other one is chemotherapy. Basically, they wanted to be alone. What should we do as, the friends or the stand buyers for someone we know? How should we react? How should we, work around that?
So usually
Do
kasi
we let them be?
for the first day or so, let
Yeah.
them be. Kasi ang chemo kasi, remember, system.
Yeah.
So ang chemotherapy kasi, it will eradicate yung good cells at bad cells. So pagod na pagod yan sila, mawa-wipe out yan sila. Usually the first 3 days, yung, wala silang, yung katawan nila parang, what you call that?
Mm-mm.
Yung, there's a term for that. Na you don't have the energy at all to get up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So even though, but we still suggest radiation, the same thing. Still suggest na, even though they're in the room to be left alone or don't know, but we still suggest that there always be somebody in the house with them, because you never
Mhm.
know what's gonna happen. We still, somebody still remind them to drink their medications. So
Mhm.
even though they wanna talk to you, but we still suggest for safety reasons, dapat may kasama pa rin sila sa bahay, or that they can call for help, kasi sometimes baka pagdating nila, if they by cells, they can have a low blood pressure, yung low ang counts nila, their
I
risk for
see.
fall, di ba, yung breathing nila. So let them be, because sometimes they wanna just be in the room, or because of course the part na naging depressed din sila eh, but it doesn't
Yeah.
mean na talikuran mo sila completely, but just tell them if they need you, I'm just outside here, or I'm just a phone call
Mhm.
away. But still better to check on them. Sometimes you might even have to have a physical visit if it allows. Napuntahan mo talaga sila and check on
Right.
them.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, we also found out no na you are a person of first. Ang daming first sa kanya. Am I rich and
First.
chill,
No.
ha? First, a Filipino nurse surveyor at the National Accreditation for Breast Cancer Programs for US, Puerto Rico, Canada, Dubai, and South Africa with 41 41 members are physician. Can you please tell us about this?
So again, this I didn't expect. It's called the National Accreditation Program for Breast Center. Is under the umbrella of the Commission on Cancer. Yun ang pinaka
Mhm.
headquarters ng mga cancer. Yeah. So they are based in Chicago, and nung initial survey namin sa NAPBC, yung center, kasi gusto na namin, accreditation. Because, when you apply for accreditation, meaning to say you want to give quality care to your patients that you
Mhm.
touch. So, nag-apply kami ng initial accreditation namin sa NAPBC na yan, sa breast center. And the surveyor na nag-survey sa akin was, and I'm not trying to, na, what you call this, na lumaki ang ulo ko ha. Sabi niya, Jonathan, I'm so impressed sa application mo. You're very organized. Sabi niya, you can be a surveyor. You give attention to details sa application niyo. And sabi niya, why not apply as a surveyor? Sabi ko, ayoko na mag-survey. Sabi ko, because in the first place, I'm busy and, mahirap. I have fear of speaking sa mga,
Yeah.
sa mga tao. Sabi
Kailangang
ko, no,
i-train
good.
tayo ni Jill.
I
Yeah.
know. Alam mo
So,
ba, there was one, I was listening to a podcast and sabi nila, the ability to communicate really determines your success and failure in life. So many
Yeah,
of those who have become very successful in life speaks very, very well.
Mhm.
that's
And
true.
siguro hindi lang na-realize ni Jonathan ha, we're very attentive sa kanya. Nakuha
Yeah.
niya yung atensyon natin. That means
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
are a good speaker.
Yes.
exactly.
So that doctor actually until now we communicate. I
Yeah.
considered I'm so thankful na he recommended me in interview ko ng panel all physicians and they decided to to hire me since 2017 na so far I'm only doing dito lang sa America
Mhm.
because yung mga senior they go to travel but you never know I might
Wow.
try to go to Canada or to but at for now is it's a good learning experience kasi that's the reason also na na-promote ako because of that.
Mhm.
Because of that experience, kung hindi ko yun
Yeah.
nag-try, I will never be on my position right
Right.
now. Kasi people now look na, si Jonathan expert yan sa mga ganyan-ganyan, sa mga, so,
Mm-mm.
but I'm being honest, I'm not really expert.
Yeah.
I always tell them if I don't know the answer, I just need to know who can I reach out. So, importante talaga yung
Exactly.
Yeah.
network natin. And honest, kung hindi mo alam, hindi mo alam. Don't
Correct.
say, ako talaga, I have no problem reaching out to people. Yung sa speed
Mm-mm.
dial natin, di ba, sa ating phone, may mga tayo, special numbers na we know we can reach out. So that's, dapat ka lang talaga. As I said, if that opportunity knocks in your doors, try to grab it and, just pray to God that, you
Right.
will succeed or not. But if you have failures, also learn and just just
Learn.
stand up
Absolutely.
again and
Mm-mm.
accept it and learn from it, right? Take it as
Yeah.
positive. Yeah.
Jonathan, I've I really admire a lot of your years of experience and knowledge and wisdom. So when hopefully sana no madala mo yung knowledge, a body of wealth of information sa Pilipinas kasi when I was back in the Philippines at the height of COVID and my mom was recovering with cancer after her surgery, it was very difficult to find experts. Parang nangangapa, lalo na din yung hospice and palliative care. It was
Mm-hmm.
very difficult because, my cultural dimension then,
Mm-hmm.
Filipinos don't like to talk about death
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and, the life and life issues. So I hope one day through your organization, yung Philippine Nurses Association, is that you can do an advocacy or even a platform, work with the Filipino American Cancer Care to bring that wealth of information and teach a lot of those teaching hospitals.
So Jill, even now, cause
Mm-mm.
as you said, I do virtual faculty sa school ko
Oh yeah.
Sa Central
That's right.
Philippine University. I don't know if you know that's the first nursing school in the Philippines too. Ang CPU. So I do
Mm.
teaching and then when we go home, through the partnership with PNA America, we call it Balik Turo.
Oh nice.
Mhm.
So doon sa Iloilo where where
Mm-mm.
CPU is, ako nagle-lecture ako usually about cancer. Yung
Right.
mga latest research, technology,
Wow.
so and
Mm-mm.
also so I've been speaking na rin doon sa atin and
Mm.
also
Wonderful.
yeah, so and anytime I told Ate Josie if anything that I can help others organization to teach or we can when we go home we can do that kasi we should be yung especially sabi mo nga yung culture natin nobody wants to talk about death.
Yeah.
It's a
Mhm.
shut off talaga tayo about death na, di ba?
I know.
But yes, mahirap talaga naman ang
Mhm.
death. But we have to accept the fact that's part of our life cycle naman. No?
Yeah.
Everybody will have, you know, only God
Pass
knows
on.
when is the
Yeah.
time na kukunin niya tayo dito. But we have to be prepared and educate
Mm.
Yeah.
the
And
family.
Now,
Josie, this is one of our takeaway
mhm.
now. My project na tayo.
Of course, because he's going to be a part of the
Yeah.
FACC
Oo.
Medical Board of Advisors. Now, we have 4 minutes no, dito sa ating radio show. Before I give you the opportunity, Rich, I would like to ask, this is a little bit personal. What are your thoughts, Jonathan, about cancer at may takot ka ba sa sakit na to?
Of course, everybody of us, we are prone to kasi konting ano lang ng ating cells damage, tawag mag-misbehave lang yung cells natin na normal cells. It can convert into cancer cells. So in this it's not just always genetics. It can be from stress, environment, and sometimes nga walang reason eh. All of a sudden mag-occur lang yung cancer.
Yeah.
But as they said, we have to make sure na we eat healthy, we exercise, positive life. Kasi maraming factors na
Naku, wala ng baboy.
no, I know, right? So as I said, everybody, I have fear, because you see it.
Yeah.
Healthy na tao, nag-exercise, kumakain naman,
Right.
all of a sudden nagka-cancer. You never know. Kasi
Right.
as I said, yung sa cells yan eh, pag nagde-divide ang cells at saka mag-abnormal na siya, then it can just convert into a cancer cell. So, pero importante pa rin talaga yung mag-ingat tayo sa sarili, as I said, healthy diet, exercise, yung smoking, yung drinking, yung mga risk factors lahat yun. At saka, always be positive in life, no? Right? So surround your people with mga positive na tao
Positive.
kasi
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, now we have 2 minutes, Emerich.
2 minutes.
I do not have any more questions, but I just wanted to thank you, Jonathan, Kuya Jonathan, for educating us, our listeners, audience. Really, I learned a lot, and I had some clarifying questions there because I wanted to make sure that we understood it at that point of view, and from a nurse who's taking care of cancer patients and then now also leading some of the great organizations in here. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And he is the president-elect ng
Yeah.
Philippine Nurses
Congratulations.
Association sa New
So
Jersey.
I hope to
Congratulations.
see you in 2 years in one of my events.
Ay,
Yeah, we
ito
have to.
meron ka ng mga MCs.
We're gonna have the FACC delegates.
Yeah,
pupunta
yeah.
kami.
Yeah, and we do it always annual. And the good thing about PNANJ, where I am, we also do fundraising. We recognize nurses. We also do a lot of scholarships for those that in nursing or to be a nurse, and also we give back to the Philippines. Actually, they always do medical mission, mga balikturo, bahay kalinga, and a lot of advocacies that will improve the working conditions, especially yung ngayon na pumupunta dito. We have to watch them. We have to take care of them, na make sure that they are treated fairly. Tulad din ng mga nurses dito sa Amerika na yung sweldo nila should be the same kasi they're nurses anyway. They pass the qualifying exam.
Okay, we have 1 minute left. Jill, thank you so
Yung
much.
biggest takeaway ko na I think being a nurse is a very novel profession because you are bringing your wealth of information and changing lives and transforming health. So we are very grateful for this profession who have made a big difference, especially sa oncology, nursing, and how they're impacting the lives of patients with cancer. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you for having me too.
Thank you so much, Jonathan Anotado Gapilango from New Jersey. And we are looking forward to seeing you in the next few weeks dito sa Virginia. Thank you so much, Emerich and Jill.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Bye,
Yes.
everyone.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas,
Friday.
everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye bye.